Hello, and welcome to the Smart Tech2Tech video series on Smart Amp. This third session shows the proper configuration of important settings within Google Apps for Education domain, so it will work properly with Smart Amp. Once signed into Google Apps for Education domain as an administrator, we begin Phase 2 of the Smart Amp setup. We see the admin console as shown on this page. We'll navigate to the Security settings, which is located under the More Controls section seen on the lower center of the page. API is an abbreviation for Application Program Interface. API reference specifies how software components should interact. We will change the default setting within the Google Apps for Education domain. Once you have selected API reference, you will need to enable API access by checking the box as shown on this page. This will allow Google Apps and Smart Amp to communicate. Once you navigate back to the admin console, the remaining settings are located under the Google Apps icon. These settings should already be set as defaults, but it is always good to verify them before we move on. Notice the current status of all these apps will be set to on. I have shown an exception with the Gmail app, which I will go into detail on the next page. Here we see the Google Apps settings we are concerned with. Notice that the Gmail app can be on or off depending on the preferences of the administrator of the domain. The Gmail app will be enabled by default when your Google Apps for Education domain is created. The subscriber may or may not wish to use Gmail as their email system. Since this is not a requirement of Smart Amp, you may choose to leave it enabled or you may choose to turn it off. If you use Google Apps for Education, you will already understand how to create users and groups on your Google domain. If you are new to this or would like a refresher, you can navigate to the URL at the bottom of the page, or you can watch the 5th and 6th video in this Smart Amp video series before you proceed to video number 4, where we will connect the Google Apps for Education domain with Smart Amp. In closing, if you have further questions regarding the configuration of your Google Apps for Education account for Smart Amp, please check Smart Support Center at the listed URL. Search the knowledge base using the available filters and keywords, or contact Smart's technical support using one of the listed options. Thanks again for viewing the third session in this Smart Tech2Tech video series on Smart Amp.